Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fandom Fights. We are here for an exciting singles match. In this title picture we have going on, we got Antonio Chavez going up against Matthew Chen, both people who have been here for a while now. Matthew a little less than Antonio. Antonio's been around the fandom block, as they say, been on a couple different teams, always done very well here at Fandom Fights, but never quite gotten enough to get to that title match. He could get that chance now, but he has to go up against Matthew, who is maybe the most delightful person I've ever met. Just so kind and sweet, and has a great team name, but a terrible team partner. Cameron Holtzman, you are here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I definitely knew way in advance that I was going to be hosting this match. Definitely had all the time in the world to prepare to host it. But no, in all seriousness, I'm very excited to see this. Both very strong competitors that have done very well, but come up against roadblocks in their paths. Like I know last year Matthew had to play Albert when Albert was on his insane run where he was beating everyone into the ground. And so it's like, yeah, Chen could be as great as he wanted to, but Albert was out for blood in that run. And then same with Antonio. I don't remember who specifically he played last year, but I think he came up against Javi in the first round of the tournament. And
sounds right.
Again, Javi on a warpath last year, doing very, very well as a rookie. So both looking for some form of redemption, I guess.
Am I correct? Is anyone Can Cook still a team, or are they done?
They're done, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then, boo, because that's what I was talking about with Jack. I don't know who his new team partner is.
Well, Matthew's new partner is Spence, so your comments stand.
Oh, so my comment stands. Great. Well, let's get into the promos right now.
Matthew, you're back in Fandom. I'm here, so that's fun. We're playing Antonio. Antonio's a nice guy. I'm feeling like we're gonna have a good time. How are you feeling, Matthew?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling excited. You know, there's definitely some scary new categories this year, but Antonio's a great guy, so I'm just looking forward to having a great match.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just have fun with it. Positive. Manners maketh man. Let's do this.
So I was saying before the match that as of this week, we're going to date this video. I don't like your jersey because my team is playing your team this weekend. But all of that aside, I'm really excited for you to come back this season with a vengeance. I know you've been putting in work. I know you're excited to get back in the win column. And I think Matthew's a dangerous competitor, but
yeah.
I think you're more dangerous. So, but that's just what I feel. How do you feel?
No, I appreciate that. It's actually felt like ages since my last match. I know I wasn't really happy after that last one because I remember, it was against Javi. But yeah, I'm looking to start off the new year on a good note and just keep that momentum going. And I always appreciate the confidence, man. So yeah, definitely ready, hyped for this one. Just ready to get going.
Let's get it on.
Holtzman, any thoughts on the promos?
Yeah, both basically saying what we already thought. They're here, they're ready to play. Antonio mentioning that there's some new people mentioned there were new categories, people mentioning being back with a vengeance. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. There's no correlation. So it's just weird that those two things that are unrelated came up.
Yeah. Crazy. Let's get into it, starting with round number one. Here's how it's going to work. There are going to be 10 questions from 10 random categories in the realm of Fandom Fights. Each question is going to be worth 1 point apiece. If you get all 10 questions correct, you will be issued a bonus question to you, only to you. You have 3 repeats and 1 challenge for the entirety of the match. Gentlemen, any questions as we start round number 1?
Okay.
Holtzman, why don't you kick us off with question numero 1?
Absolutely. I mentioned with a vengeance, which is fitting because your first category is in Disney animation. Which Disney animated film features the characters Rapunzel, Cinderella, and Merida?
Do you like the animated ones from Disney?
I like a lot of them. The older ones sometimes are good and sometimes are bad, but
there's 61 total. If you had to put a number on it, how many do you like?
At least like 26.
Oh, that's a good number. 5.
Yeah.
4, 3.
Is this one of them? Who knows?
1. Pens down. Let's find out. Starting with Chen.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
And Antonio.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Both are correct. So 1-1 as we get into your second question. In American Spies, how does Jason Bourne kill the man known as the Asset in Jason Bourne? Have you gotten to this one yet, Cameron?
I have. I watched this movie whilst drinking and labeling 96 whiteboards for my job.
Fun.
And when I didn't need the alcohol for the movie, but it helped. I needed it because when you labeled 96 whiteboards, 96 markers, and 96 erasers, it's
that doesn't sound too fun.
It's a job.
Pens down. Antonio.
I only saw this movie once. Stabbing.
Matthew.
I said shoots them.
Both incorrect. We were looking for breaks his neck, snaps his neck. Cameron, what's next?
Your next category is YA. What is the name of the runner who gets stung and attacks Thomas in the woods in The Maze Runner?
So I'm still here. I dropped my pen cap, and I need to pick it up.
And you don't want people to see the shame of.
We don't need to see Tim trying to.
Oh no, I have that when we're on call hanging out. It's like, oh, my laptop's like dying, and I need to grab my charger, and so I'll either turn off my camera, or I'll just be like, nobody look at me, and I run.
3, 2, 1. Pens down. Let's go to Matthew.
I can remember the name.
And Antonio.
I just used a funny name, Chad.
Both incorrect. We're looking for Ben. Ben. Your next question is in the category of Star Trek. And your question is simply, who directed Star Trek Generations? Everyone's favorite.
So I watched this one before I had seen like half of the original series movies.
That's weird.
Because I was on a team and we had to study Star Trek, and I went, I'll watch the next gens, you'll watch the originals. And my review was like, this is a send-off for characters I don't care about.
Hands down. Antonio.
David Carson.
And Matthew.
I said Jonathan Frakes.
Antonio is correct. So Antonio goes up 2-1. As we get into your next one, what is it, Cameron?
Your next question comes in the category of Pixar. What is the name of Bonnie's toy unicorn in Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4?
Your thoughts on these two films?
I don't think either one is bad, but I think they're the two lesser Toy Story films, in my opinion.
That is... I half agree with you. I think straight up, I think Toy Story 3 is the worst one. But they're all
I think 4 is, but like it's not bad.
2, 1, pens down. Let's go to Matthew.
Buttercup.
And Antonio.
I just shortened it to Uni.
Buttercup is correct. So Matthew ties the game 2-2. Your next question is going to come in the category of Star Wars. Which Star Wars film was the last one to feature Luke Skywalker igniting a lightsaber?
Yeah, I don't.
Sorry, I just had to edit something in the doc, and then I realized that you can't see what I'm editing. So
I cannot.
5.
It's
It is the answer to this question too. 1, pens down because I believe it's wrong, but I'll double check. Let's get answers starting with Antonio.
Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
And Matthew.
The Last Jedi.
All right, both correct. 3-3 as we get into your next question, which is going to be read to you by Mr. Holtzman.
Absolutely. Your next question comes in the category of the MCU. What does Scott put in his regulator in order to escape from the quantum realm in Ant-Man?
Movie's awesome.
It's good. I had it stuck with its original plan, I would have liked it more.
Okay.
Well, it's me, Tim.
I know.
It's me. I'm allowed to say that because I'm a slut.
1, pens down. Let's go to Matthew.
I just said a Lego.
And Antonio.
I said an enlarging disc.
Antonio is correct. So Antonio takes a 1-point lead, 4-3. Let's get into your next question in the category of scores and soundtracks. Who composed the score for Red? How crazy would it have been if I said Red Sparrow?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh. Red Dead Revolver.
I was gonna say that's the thing I don't like about those games is like it does almost like the Rambo thing where it's like Rambo or First Blood,
Rambo First Blood,
Rambo 3, Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2.
One
Why?
hands down. Matthew. Or no, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, sure, fine. Matthew.
Christoph Beck.
Antonio.
Henry Jackman.
Matthew is correct. Christoph Beck is the correct answer. So we're all tied up 4-4. As we get into your penultimate question, what is it, Holtzman?
Your penultimate question comes in the category of sci-fi icons. What is the name of Optimus's old leader who is found comatose on the moon in Transformers: Dark of the Moon?
I was once on an episode of Logged It where I said that Transformers Dark of the Moon is as good as Citizen Kane. And I thought Kolakowski was going to like lose his mind. Boatman must not have been there because he's like losing his shit right there. I know Cody was there and I know Kirk.
The thing is, like, I went to watch through these like to prep for Fandom and stuff, and I realized partway through this movie, I just hadn't seen this one.
It's fair.
I've seen all the other ones. And what's wild is it's the only one I own on physical media.
One pens down. It's a great movie. As Mike would say, it's a great fucking movie. Let's go to Matthew.
I couldn't think of anything.
And Antonio.
I might be thinking about the wrong movie. Magnus Prime.
Incorrect. We were looking for Sentinel Prime. Sentinel Prime. As we get into your final question of the round, it's in the category of the worlds of DC. Which member of Black Adam's family was originally chosen by the Council of Wizards before their death in Black Adam? The macaw glaring at me from across the room. Big glares. What's up, macaw?
I don't know if you're aware of what just happened, but the hierarchy of this match did just change.
It did just change. For a week before that movie came out, I would go up to Maggie and go, hey, 6 more days until the hierarchy of the DC universe changes. And she got so mad. 5, 4.
You know, they were right. The hierarchy did change.
Just not
You got in charge.
Antonio.
His son.
And Matthew.
Son
is correct. So at the end of round number 1, we are all tied up 5-5. Is that what you have, Cam?
That is what I have.
We're gonna get into round number 2. Here's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna bring up the wheel from wheeldecide.com. Each player is gonna have a chance to spin the wheel. If they like what they spin the first time, they can keep it. Or they can choose to spin again, but they must keep what they spin the second time. Each question is worth 2 points apiece, unless you want to check down to multiple choice. Then it'll be worth only 1 point. Stealing is available in round number 2, so be on the lookout. Both players still have their repeats and challenges intact. Today's wheel is brought to you by Voodoo. Buy Moonfall for $19.99 and question your life choice. The categories on the wheel today are Pixar, MCU, DreamWorks Animation, Sci-Fi Icons, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, Star Wars, and Middle Earth. Because we are tied, we are going to defer to the higher-ranked player, which is Antonio. Mr. Chavez, would you like to spin first or defer?
I would probably go second.
Yeah, me too. I was leaning the same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think we will defer.
Okay. Defer.
Sounds good. We'll bring in Mr. Boatman, and this will be the spin for Matthew.
Good job, Matthew.
It lands on DreamWorks Animation. Would you like to keep that? Or...
Yeah, I should take this, right? Yeah. I'll take it.
All right. Matthew, I'm going to have Well, actually, no, I'm going to read you your questions in DreamWorks Animation because, you know, things. Are you ready for your questions?
Yeah.
Your first question. Which DreamWorks film features the land of Syracuse?
Multiple choice.
All right, your multiple choice options are A, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, B, The Prince of Egypt, C, Shrek Forever After, or D, Shrek the Third.
A
is correct for 1 point. Matthew, your next question. Diane Foxington holds what government position in The Bad Guys?
Mayor.
That is incorrect. Antonio, chance for a 2-point steal. Five.
Governor.
That is correct for a
Oh,
big 2-point steal.
Never seen the movie.
All right, your next question, Matthew. In Ants, General Mandible plans on killing the entire colony of ants. How?
No choice.
All right, your options are A, lighting them on fire, B, burying them alive, C, getting them stepped on, or D, drowning them.
D.
D is correct for 1 point. We are back to a tie game. Your penultimate question, Matthew. What is the name of the main protagonist of Chicken Run, voiced by Julia Sawala? I don't know how to say that name. I'm very sorry. Sawala? Five, 4, 3, 2.
Repeat.
All right, that is your first repeat. What is the name of the main protagonist of Chicken Run, voiced by Julia Sawalha?
Rocky.
That is incorrect. Antonio, chance for a 2-point steal.
Ginger.
Ginger is correct. All right. And Matthew, your final question in DreamWorks Animation. What type of animal is Gloria in the Madagascar franchise?
Hippo.
That is correct for 2 points. So Matthew gets his total up to 9, but with the steals, Antonio is also at 9. Is that what you have, Cameron?
That is what I have.
Perfect. All right, so we will bring back in Mr. Meltzer and the wheel for Antonio Smith.
Great job on those steals, man.
It lands on the MCU.
We are taking that for sure.
Yeah, we'll stick with that.
Yeah.
All right. So sticking with the MCU, Cameron, I'm going to have you give the questions in MCU to Antonio.
Good. Antonio, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, your first question in the MCU. Which MCU film was the first where the villain was a blood relative of the main hero?
Five, 4.
Black Panther.
That is incorrect, Matthew, for a 2-point steal.
Five, 4, 3, 2.
Black Widow. No, I couldn't think of her.
That is also incorrect. Looking for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I try to forget that movie.
Your next question. In Black Widow, in what type of vehicle do Natasha and her surrogate family ultimately use to escape at the beginning of the film?
A plane.
That's correct for 2 points. Who plays Volstagg in Thor?
Ray Stevenson.
That's correct for 2 points. Your next question. In Spider-Man Homecoming, Ned wants to build a Lego set from what fandom franchise with Peter?
Star Wars.
That is correct for 2 points. And your final question. In Captain America, the Winter Soldier, who is sent to kill Fury at Steve's apartment?
The Winter Soldier / Bucky.
That is correct for 2 points.
All right, so Antonio gets his total up to 17. Is that what you have, Cameron?
That is what I have.
All right, so we're going to get into round number 3. It is the betting round. Here's what's going to happen. We are going to say a category. The players are then going to decide if they want to bet 0, 1, or 2 on the question. If they get the question right, they will gain the points they bet. If they get it wrong, they will lose the points they bet. We will play it until someone is mathematically eliminated or we have reached the end of the round. So, players, any questions? Okay. Then the first category that you can bet points on is going to be Marvel, regular Marvel. Let's get bets, starting with Antonio.
0.
And Matthew.
2.
All right, here's the situation. If Matthew hits this, we will move on to the next question. If he misses this, Antonio will win the match. So your question, in the category of Marvel. In X-Men Dark Phoenix, what specific location does En Saba Nur take, or I'm sorry, we need to start this question over because this should say in X-Men Apocalypse. So, in X-Men Apocalypse, what specific location does En Saba Nur take Magneto to where he shows him the full extent of his powers and gets him to join his side?
Without naming any places in any way, shape, or form, if you could be taken by Oscar Isaac dressed as a raisin anywhere in the world, where would you? But again, you can't name any places.
The repeat.
All right, that's Matthew's second repeat. In X-Men Apocalypse, what specific location does En Saba Nur take Magneto to where he shows him the full extent of his powers and gets him to join his side?
I'm waiting for you. Can't name any locations, but I need an answer to my question. If you could have him take you anywhere in the world, but you're not allowed to name a location.
3, 2, 1, pens down. Antonio, we'll go to you.
Auschwitz.
And Matthew.
I said train station.
And your winner, Antonio Chavez. The answer was Auschwitz. Cameron, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was a very close match, round number 1, and then round 2, I think Chen just wasn't totally ready for what was going to come up in DreamWorks, and then when Antonio gets MCU, which is known to be a big strength of his, it's unfortunate. It looked like it was going to maybe even be a knockout, but mathematically that couldn't have happened, but like it looked like it was going to be even worse for Matthew going into this, so the fact that he made it into the betting round at least is good for him. But yeah, unfortunately, just didn't really go his way.
Yeah. All right. Let's start post-match interviews. We'll start by talking to Matthew. Matthew, great round 1. I think Cameron summed it up pretty well. Just round 2, the DreamWorks questions were maybe just movies you weren't super comfortable with or just a little bit out of your wheelhouse. But I still think you played well. You were able to get it so that you didn't get knocked out and make it into round 3. So that's impressive. How are you feeling about the match?
Yeah, it kind of sucks that like the DreamWorks questions just didn't exactly go my way. Like the movies weren't the ones that I was as familiar with, but and Antonio he did a great job with MCU, so it just sucks. But I'm glad I didn't get knocked out.
Yeah, not much that you can do in that situation. It just sometimes you have questions that aren't great for you in a category that usually is, and sometimes you have questions that are great for you in a category that usually isn't. Like that's just the way it goes. And Matthew will get them next time.
Yeah. So Matthew, this does take you out of this title picture, but you'll be back later this season, and you'll be, as we alluded to earlier, on a new team. Anything coming up in Fandom that you want to play, or any teams that you want to take a shot at this season?
No, I guess just
You can say Caleb Boatman, even though he's right there. You can say
Jack and Alex. Spence and I are coming for you guys.
There you go. That's what
the good old wife swap. We just traded teammates.
Great job, Matthew. We'll see you later this season. Let's bring in the winner today, Antonio. Antonio, great job. Like I said, good round one. Round two, pretty dominating. The first question. Some people missed the first question and then they get a little, shaken. You stayed cool. You made it through, swept the rest of the category. And then we're able to just end it in the first question. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, kind of mad at myself for missing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I don't know, I probably overthought that one. And I honestly was just glad to be lucky with those steals. Although Chicken Run I knew, but Bad Guys I didn't expect to really get that one right. But yeah, just feel good that to start off on a good note. Would have been nice for a knockout, but just glad I came out with the win.
Yeah, Jake, thoughts on how your player?
Yeah, I'm really proud of Antonio. I know round one I think was like they were tied, but I think Antonio. There were a couple questions. I think he it's just like a little bit. I think he can. There's stuff to improve on, but round two, awesome. Like just getting steals in an opponent's strength is no laughing matter, no matter whether you guess the answer or not. And then obviously just taking care of business in MCU, like you know how to do. So I think that round two was indicative of the player that I think Antonio is going to be this year. And I'm really excited to see what's next for him.
Well, speaking of what's next, as Nick would say, like I said, this is part of a title picture. You're going on to face the winner of a match coming up tomorrow. We're going to see this match tomorrow. You are going to be playing the winner of Caleb Boatman and Rue Moses. So either one of those tickle your fancy, as they say.
It would be interesting because Rue and I used to be teammates in another league, so it actually would be fun to play Rue. So yeah, I'd actually be intrigued by that one. But Caleb's awesome also. So, but Rue would be the one that's most intriguing to play.
Yeah, both of like obviously Boatman has played in Fandom title matches before. He's obviously no slouch when it comes to trivia in general. I would know more than most people. And Rue, I think, is gonna come back with a vengeance this year. Like being away for the year, I think you can take him, but he's scary. So I think either one of those would be a really awesome match, and I can't wait to see it.
And both of their managers are swell people as well. So you would have that to look forward to as well. But great job, Antonio. I look forward to seeing whoever you play next. Cameron, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was a good match. Unfortunately, ended up being a bit more one-sided than I'm sure anyone really wanted, except for maybe Antonio and Jake. I know, as from a viewing standpoint, it's always exciting to see a match go all the way to the last question. From a hosting standpoint, I'm sure it is. From a writing standpoint, I'm sure you would rather have more questions that you could reuse for another match. So you're probably pretty happy in that way. But no, I thought it was a good match. People keep saying the phrase "with a vengeance," and I don't know why. And I think the most important thing I can leave everyone with is go see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish in theaters now. It's really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I support that.
And 100%. Watch The Bad Guys. It ruled.
Yeah, it is good. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys real soon with more matches. We got more matches coming out this weekend, and I'm sure there were some at other times in the whole thing. That matches. Go watch them. We'll see you real soon with the next one. Thank you to Jake. Thank you to Antonio. Thank you to Boatman. Thank you to Chen. Thank you to Nick from behind the scenes for writing this match. I have been Tim. Thank you to Holtzman too. Ooh, see you next time. Bye.
We are so glad you came. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye now. Bye. Bye-bye.
And again, that's the hero gig. Part of the journey is the end.
Goodbye, old friend. kid, he has to go.